Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Nissa.
How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very excited to be here today.
Me too. So today we have with us Jackie. She is a clinical hypnotherapist and a transpersonal regression therapist. Not only is she a therapist, but she also teaches it. So if you feel called out to learn this, or you feel that you want to make a career of this, please do reach out to her. The links will all be in the description. So
And Nissa, you are an integrated therapist yourself, and you have specialized into somatics, into the somatic therapy. So you've deep dived into the world of the physical health and healing the physical body as well. I'm so glad to be here with you today.
thank you. Thank you, Jackie. So let's deep dive into, how you became a therapist. Like what led you to this path? What made you
Uh,
feel called into it?
so, by qualification, I'm actually an engineer. I've done my electrical electronic engineering, and I did my master's in business administration and all of it. And I have been in the corporate world, in the corporate uh, industry of Dubai, and I climbed the corporate ladder at a certain point when I felt this is not for me. It just didn't resonate with me anymore. And then when I look back at it, I realized that I never felt fit in that world in any way. But it was at a certain point where I called it quits, all quits. And I said, I need to dive deep. I need to understand certain things. I need certain questions answered in my own space, which is when I looked into this space, exploring. So it
Mm.
all started actually exploring myself. The time that I started to dive deep, asking questions like, why me? Or what is really my purpose of life? Why am I here in this world? What do I really need to do? It's those questions that led me into wanting to, you know, into the spiritual world, basically. And I think that we ask those questions when we are really troubled. So, when we are living our life casually and everything is going really well and things are absolutely fine, there is no reason for you to get ruffled up. There's no reason for you to start to wake up. There's no reason
A
for you to
routine, right? So
absolutely. So everything is fine. I believe that only when you feel troubled, or rather when you find yourself in that space which feels like darkness, and it could be any kind of darkness. People these days go through depressions and anxiety and loss and all sort of things. But it's when you feel a kind of darkness around you, when you start to seek light by asking real questions. And I guess that it was those real questions that got me to then start to explore. So I first went into, different energy healing modalities, learning that. Until then, I stumbled upon hypnotherapy. I went through a session on myself, and that was transformative for me. It was just one session, and I came out and I suddenly understood so much about myself. And I felt different. It's like I went in one person and I woke up, I opened my eyes feeling completely different. So then I said, I want to study this. And then I went into the study of hypnotherapy. I practiced it. I wanted to go deeper. So I studied the post graduation, which is transpersonal regression therapy. And now I practice both and I teach both.
amazing. That's so cool. Um, I'm so glad you're teaching it though, because I've seen how you teach, and you're also my go-to person when I have questions. So you know everything very deeply, and you explain it very well too. So
Thank
that's
you. But Nisa, we have studied clinical hypnotherapy together. We've been together in our journey
great.
in
Yeah.
the transpersonal regression therapy. I have been fortunate to have somebody like you hold space as we travel this together. But I also want to know how your journey started, how you got into this, and how has your journey been through this?
Right. So with me, it started with a trauma, of course, with the loss of a job. And when I lost my job, I was extremely distressed and upset. It was the end of the world because I was on a high. I thought everything was fine in my life, even though there were signs, you know, I could feel the void, like literally just going through the motions of life. And I often thought, like, is this life? You know, like, is this all it is? Like, you get up in the morning, you do your thing, you come back at night, you go to sleep, and it's just like a cycle, you know? And anyway, one day it all came crumbling down. My world came crumbling down, and I came across a lady who did hypnosis. I was traveling in Bhutan, soul searching, and I met this lady who had just finished her course, and I told her about my story a little bit. She said, "Why don't you try hypnosis?" And I said, "Okay, I would love that." So when we got back to Dubai, I booked 5 sessions with her, and for me, the transformation wasn't in the first session. I think it was the third or the fourth, because I'm also very stubborn, very logical. So it was hard to like really get deep. But in the first session, it was like, okay, that's interesting, you know. But of course, there was a lot of resistance to go. Then the second, the third, I think it was the third session where I went really deep, and it was extremely I let go, and I was able to really get some answers about like what was happening in my life. And that for me was amazing. And at that point, I also decided like, this is what is this? I want to learn it. And then I went looking for courses, and yeah, I mean, the path was then made.
Amazing.
So when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? So
Yes, yes, absolutely. I agree with it. And as this is the similarity of when we actually start to seek, when we start to seek help, when we start to seek help outside, and when we start to think and understand that something feels amiss, something doesn't feel right, something needs to be fixed. This just doesn't feel right. I
right.
think it then we actually start to explore ourselves in that sense that leads to what it leads to. um, and most of the time, and actually up until now, it appears that that spaces of darkness, and that may be to do with the fact that earth is such a dual planet,
Right.
that is the thing that we seek light at this point, it comes from troubled times, from issues of yourself, from darkness, from things that you don't understand, from things that you really really need answers about. So
The world we live in is so polar, right? So it's either really good, really bad, good, bad, you know. But I guess somewhere we have to find the balance in between. So
yeah,
now when I look back on my journey and I look back on those days, which were for me at that time, the worst time of my life, I think that was actually the best time of my life, because that that changed my direction in life, you know, and I just realized that I discovered something that was like I could not have even imagined that existed. And yeah, it just opened a whole new world for me, which
absolutely.
mm,
Yeah, and when you discuss your story, it also reminds me of the clients which we feel are difficult clients.
I know.
But only to understand that what we feel as difficult clients as therapists, or we feel as difficult clients being ourselves when we are clients, is actually just the amount of wall that we have built, the amount of resistance we have built, just with the belief systems that we have in our space, in our mind. And so it's those that make it difficult even for ourselves to go through healing, even though it is absolutely something that we need. So, and sometimes it needs that sort of 1, 2, 3 layers of peeling to be then finally be able to get a breakthrough.
So Jack,
So,
do you also find that you attract clients to you with which have similar issues that you had, or that are somehow in resonance with experiences that you've had?
initially, when I started this work for about 2 to 3 years, I started to notice a pattern of the kind of client that started to come to me.
Right.
And the pattern would be, and it would be absolutely in synchronicity in that way, is that I would have a period of time where I would be able to see, where I would get clients who would come to me only that would want to deal with grief. And then I would have a period of time that I would see clients that would want to deal with anger and then with guilt. And they would come in batches and in phases. And so when I started to notice this, I started to ask the next question is why? Why this? Why this pattern? Why? And that led me to reflect into another layer of myself, of what part of this emotion that people are coming to deal with have I not dealt with in my own space. So I started to realize that this is the second layer of healing that I'm going through for myself. The first being worked on myself, the second layer is the undercurrents, the emotions and the issues that I have still not addressed in my space.
Right.
So when I started to ask that question as to why are they coming in my space, and what of this emotion I've not dealt for myself, I then started to explore those emotions and bit by bit, with awareness, worked on that. But you are right. I do see people who, initially at least, who came to me for very in batches with very specific emotions that needed to be dealt with.
That's so interesting. I had a similar experience because I used to journal all my client, like all the sessions I did. So I used to keep two diaries, one for all the therapy I would do on myself, and one for all the clients I would see. So I would just keep like one paragraph of each client. And I was recently looking back on it, and I noticed, my gosh, there is a pattern, you know. And it was also, like you said, things that I had not dealt with myself in my own space. And I would also, like, when talking with other therapists from our batch and stuff, I would realize that, yeah, you know, like uh, everything is just mirroring our own lives, right? So
By
whatever,
the end of the day, yeah, absolutely. By the end of the day, as a therapist, you feel that you're helping others and you're doing work and you're helping in their own journey, which by the way, would be a consequential event, but actually the work is always on yourself. You're
so
always in progress of the
a
work.
work in progress, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's another thing that I would like to share in my own journey of having gone through studying hypnotherapy and tasso
Mm-hmm.
was um, the breakthrough that I went through was understanding the energy of money in
Right.
itself.
Okay.
So when I went through the journey of studying hypnotherapy and the post graduation, which is tasso, by then I had quit the corporate world and all of it. So I had certain amount that was left with me as gratuity, after you've left. And so I spent that amount in learning hypnotherapy. Then I was called in to learn tasso by my friends like you, which I started, which I started on the journey, but I didn't really have the money to study it. And I said, okay, let's just start and let's see how we go forward. If it's not meant to for me to study to go on, then I will just not go on. But the strange part is that before every module that I would study, somehow I would have the exact amount for that module, just the exact amount. And it would either be, me selling off my car and getting the amount that I needed to study for that.
Dramatic, yeah.
Absolutely. Or it would be that I have loaned somebody and that person just returns the loan back to me, the loaned amount back to me, but only the amount that is enough for that particular module, to the extent that when I would swipe my card, it would be a good big zero in
Right.
my account. And and this was again another strange pattern that I observed while I was studying. So when I observed this, I made my mind up and I realized I want to be able to understand the energy of money and crack it.
Right.
I really want to understand this. What is this? What is going on? And I went to my teacher as well. And I said, please help me understand this. And we worked together. And I realized that most of the issues that we have, and the reason why I'm sharing this, Nissa, here, is because I see even right now when the clients come to me, that a lot of people struggle with money. So it
True.
is not with income or just getting in. Sometimes it is with getting in itself, getting money itself. Sometimes it is with being able to manage it. So a lot of people come to me and say, oh, I get money, but then it's gone. And
Mm-hmm.
for some people, like bad debts and all. And for some people, it's, leaking and some other struggles. So what I'm trying to say is that when I went through understanding my own relation with money, I realized that money is just energy.
Mm,
And it is so much linked to our belief systems,
right.
to how our parents handled it, to what our ancestors thought about it and how they felt about it, and so many other aspects. And if we are able to understand that, and if we are able to heal that in our space, our relation with money, our equation with money starts to change. And I've seen that in my own space.
So yeah, that's amazing. Like, how did you heal it? Was it through hypnosis or did you do
Yes.
other?
Through hypnotherapy, I started to understand what were my limiting beliefs about money itself. Like one of them is that, oh, it comes in only with hard work. If I haven't worked hard, then I don't deserve it. Then it was also to do with what I thought about healing and money, that healing and charging for it shouldn't go hand in hand, that, therapy is different, money is different. So do not link that. So I just started to heal so many belief systems in my own space to free the energy of money from my thoughts, from my belief, that
Mm.
I bring it back.
I think everybody does have some limiting beliefs about money, like everyone, even people who don't have money issues. I know that as well, money being the root of all evil, all the proverbs, all the sayings, there's always something, negative about money that we hear day in, day out, and it just goes into our subconscious without us even knowing. And somehow it plays out, right, as a program.
Absolutely, absolutely. So money is one aspect, that clients come for. What kind of clients do you see in your space? What do you see? What kind of issues that they come for majorly? Just for people to also understand,
Right. What
what
can you
kind of.
go to a hypnotherapist for? So I get
Absolutely.
a lot of clients for addictions, uh,
Oh, okay.
anger related issues. What else? Addictions, also job related issues, also belief
Yes,
systems, uh,
yes,
related to work, relationships. Um, yeah,
yes.
I mean that those are the main ones I get.
Yeah. Relationships, weight, people who want to deal with
Weight,
their
yes.
weight.
So
Yes.
weight is another thing, which is also linked to a belief system.
Mm.
So I've had a few clients for weight, and how I tackle it is with doing taking the client under, first of all, to find out what those beliefs, limiting belief systems are. Like, what is it that's blocking the client from just not eating so many calories? It's a very simple formula, right? You have 1,000 calories or 1,500 calories a day that you can eat, and that 1,000 calories you burn, and then everything on top of that. If you take 1,500 calories, you need to burn 500. It's a straight formula: in, burn, and out. So if the client is not able to do that on his own or her own, that means there's something stopping the client. Like, what's the craving for sugar? So usually it's linked to not having any happiness in your life. Just, again, going through emotion, living your routine, having a void in your life, which is causing a lot of disturbance which is causing the client to look for something sweet, look for something, protection. Also, client feeling unsafe. It's also another reason for weight gain, actually. When you feel unsafe at work, when you feel bullied, when you feel threatened, this is also another cause of a weight gain. So first, if you deal with those topics, which are the emotions behind, the hidden emotions behind the presenting issue, that is a good first start. And then what I do is I do, like, under hypnosis, do a bariatric surgery. So I take the client under hypnosis, and then we just perform a whole surgery. I let the client do it. The client becomes a surgeon, cuts the body up, does the bariatric surgery, stitches the body up, and then we put some suggestive elements into it, where now I'm not going to be hungry. I'm going to feel full after 1,000 calories, and all those suggestions, which we discussed before, of course, what's your block? Like, is it you overeat? Is it you eat sweets? Whatever. So put those suggestions in, and then we bring the client out of hypnosis, and subconsciously it's like magic, it just
Wow, that is really interesting.
mm.
And how has your experience been as a therapist, and what kind of feedback have you got from your client after this kind of work?
It's
This is
very
very
good. I've also done it on myself.
wow.
Yeah, I lost 10 kgs as well this way. So very proud of myself. And also, of course, you have to, I also do yoga and other stuff now to keep myself healthy. But everything you do helps, of course. Yeah. So
Yeah. I absolutely. But this is amazing. This is really amazing of the kind of the work that can be done under hypnosis, under hypnotherapy. Like even though I practice hypnotherapy, I feel like
it's
there's
so
so much
vast. There's so
more. It's so
much to
profound.
do.
It's so huge. There's so much more that you can do
Right.
uh, as well.
So a lot
Um,
of clients as well, like sometimes they lose the weight and then it comes back, or it comes back double. So unless you get rid of the emotion, which is actually causing it, the underlying hidden emotion, then, it's just going to keep coming back. So it's really important to find out what the root cause is of the weight gain and eliminate it once and for all. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think it is such a broad topic as well, weight management itself. And I feel like, there's so many people who deal with it, who have issues with it on so many different levels, in so many different areas that I guess that this is a whole topic in itself that can be discussed, and
Yeah.
that can be podcasted in itself.
True. Maybe we can
Because
do
I
that
have
one
had
day. We can do one on, let's see what the audience comments are, and based on their comments, maybe we can look into doing more podcasts and more going deep diving into different aspects that they would be interested in hearing about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so you basically, to just sum it up, the kind of clients that come to for hypnosis or for hypnotherapy or for this kind of work is anybody that has issues with, let's say, psychosomatic or habits or addictions
Right.
or emotional, behavioral, emotional
Anything.
emotions that is out of your control, or the patterns that people keep seeing in their life. Like a lot of people come in with relationship issues, but with specific patterns of attracting specific kind of men or women in their life, a partner in their life, that they just
We don't
seem
know why, but
exactly.
yes.
For people who have issues with finances, because that again goes with belief systems, and yeah, sleeping issues, insomnia. I have worked with so many clients with issues with sleep as well, which right now seems to be spreading um, like a pandemic in this world.
People wouldn't think you could use hypnosis for sleeping issues because it's so, it seems quite, but actually sleeping issues can cause huge disruption in one's life. If you're not sleeping, everything's going to go south.
Everything is messed up. Absolutely. So yes, depending on the feedback that you receive from people, what they want to hear more about, I'm happy to dive into any of the topic that can be further explored.
That
Uh,
sounds great.
Thank you, Nissa. Thank you for having me here. It was an amazing conversation. It was amazing to talk to you and regressing into our own journey of here.
Thank you so much for taking out the time. And yes, we're going to do this again so very soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye, Nissa.